Hello, how are you? This is Miss Tara from the Hummingbird Conservatory, and I am your music teacher today. It is Monday at 5 p.m. in Southern California, and I really want to welcome you back to another edition stream of Sing With Me. A couple of quick PSAs. Please vote. Vote tomorrow. Vote, 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 vote. I know it's crazy right now. It is crazy. I've already voted. I voted by mail. My vote has been counted. It made me nuts, actually. I had to vote. I could feel it burning a hole in my brain, my ballot. And so I did it last Sunday and I dropped it off at Town Hall here where I am, and then it was counted within a day. I know tomorrow might be crazy. I know some people get to vote into later this week. Please, please, please let your voice be heard. This is an important one, I think, for everyone, actually. And also, I want to let you know that tomorrow at 1 p.m., I'm going to do a quick exercise, practice this stream, which will reiterate one of the exercises we do tonight. Okay, so it'll be a shorter one. If you don't have time to hang around for the whole hour, you can just get some of the really good, yummy stuff that we're going to work on tonight, tomorrow in a quick stream. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to just hang out and practice from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time, but it's going to be vocal chat time. So if you want to join me for that practice, you can come into the chat room, ask me questions about singing, ask me questions about your singing, share with me any singers that you totally love that you want to talk about. You can ask me questions about them. We can display capture them and have a good time. So join me on Wednesday for vocal chat from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time. I'd love to hang out with you guys and talk about my favorite thing, which is singing, okay? So without further ado, let's get to it, okay? It's Monday. It's time to have a voice lesson. So I'm going to begin this voice lesson the way I begin all of them by asking you about your posture, okay? If you're going to stand for this lesson, I'd like you to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, okay? A little bit of weight in your heels and a slight bend in your knees. That will inevitably create a sort of tucking sensation with your butt muscles. They'll sort of tuck under you, and that will be great. You want to have everything sort of aligned underneath you to support your voice, okay? If you're going to stay seated, that's totally fine too. Just make sure that your back, like mine, is up off the back of the chair, okay? And always, whether you're standing or sitting, you want to make sure that your feet are grounded. So I'm sitting in a chair where my feet are on the ground. I'm not going to cross my legs. I'm not going to cross them at the ankles. I'm going to keep everything grounded as if I were standing and singing, okay? The other thing is I'm going to keep a nice lift in my torso, and I'm going to keep my neck nice and relaxed. For this next exercise we're going to do, if you notice that your elbows start to come up, sorry, shoulders. I actually confuse elbows and shoulders a lot. But if you notice your shoulders are sort of coming up, I want you to make sure that you just shake them out nice and relaxed, okay? You also want to make sure that your chin, you're not leading with your chin on your inhalation or your exhalation or when we're singing through any of the exercises, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a stamina exercise. This is the first exercise. I do this all the time for my own practice. I do it with all my own students, and my own voice teacher does this with me at the beginning of my lessons, okay? So I'm going to breathe in really slow, all right, and then I'm going to hold my breath this time for 16 beats, which I'm going to count out on my hands, and I'm going to send the air out on a really thin stream all the way to the end of my breath. Even when I get to the end, I'm going to pull my stomach muscles in a couple more times, so you'll hear me do that. Actually, it'll be like these little puffs of air. What I want to encourage you to do is this exercise is not only about slowing down the apparatus for breath support, but it's also about getting in touch with your instrument, which is your whole body. As a singer, you sing with your entire body, okay? So you don't have to inhale as long as I do. You can count to 16 beats as quickly as you'd like, and I'm not expecting you to exhale as long as I do either. I want you to do this at your own way and pace. I'm just demonstrating the way that we do it, okay? Here we go. Breathing in nice and slow, holding my breath for 16 beats, which I'll count on my fingers, sending the air out on a really thin stream. And even when I think I'm done, I send the air out just a little bit longer, just a few more puffs. That one was laborious. This has been a long day. It's been a hard day. It's the end of the day. this is actually when I sing the best, is around this time of day, and yet warming my breath up feels like I'm lifting a ton of bricks. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. I'm going to inhale really slow. I'm going to hold my breath for 20 beats, which I'm going to count out on my hand. I'm going to send it out on a really thin stream of air between my lips, okay? That thin stream is more like a seam ripping between my two lips than so much like an embouchure. So I'm not going, I'm not blowing bubbles, and I'm not like that. My tongue's not involved. It literally is a sending out of the air naturally, and that exhalation begins because my stomach muscles have started to pull in. Okay, here we go for 20 beats. That one was better. That one was better. I did get a little spit out on that one. The glamorous life of singing. Okay, good, 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 good. And that felt a lot better that time. I felt my intercostal muscles, those are the muscles between my ribs, the bones of my rib cage start to pull in a little bit. I felt my back muscles get involved. That one felt a lot better, felt more cleansing, felt stronger, felt better supported. This time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe in, and I'm going to hold my breath for as long as I feel like I can. So I am not going to count, okay? I'm not going to count with my fingers. I'm going to breathe in. I'm going to hold my breath for an amount of time that I feel like I can hold it for, and then I'm going to send that air out on a really thin stream, okay? So again, if you're doing this with me, this is about what you feel like you can do at your own way and pace, okay? So you breathe in nice and slow for as long as you can, you hold for as long as you can, and you exhale for as long as you can. A note about the exhalation, we sing on our exhale. That's what singers sing on. So the most important thing about the exhale is not so much about making it long. It's more about making it consistent, having that rate of torque that I'm exhaling be as consistent as possible for as long as possible. Length comes with time. That's the stamina part. But that exhale part, that's sending the air out, that consistency part, that's the part that we really want to get good at, because that's what's going to help us hold notes. That's what's going to help us crescendo and decrescendo. That's what's going to help us move fast or move slow. Legato, staccato, that's what helps the art of singing, okay? All right, here we go. Breathing in, holding my breath for as long as I feel like it, and then sending the air out. Oh gosh, that felt so good. Now, that's actually the way, that last time that we did it, that's actually the way that you do the exercise. I've modified it for people who are newer because I think sometimes we spend way too much time obsessing over holding our breath. And actually the breath holding is sort of the most minor part of that exercise. The holding of the breath is about helping us slow everything down and pay more attention to where we are. Okay, but the exhalation is really critical because, as I just said, that's what we're going to be singing on, okay? So what I want to do now is another breath exercise actually to help us with our exhalation, to make it a little bit more automatic. And I was working with a student of mine on this on Saturday, actually, and it was really helpful to her to sort of work on the automation of inhale and exhale, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe in, okay? Take one of those nice long diva breaths, as one of my singers would call them, okay? And then I'm going to exhale immediately. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhale on that S, and I'm going to send the air out as quickly as I can, okay? So I'm not trying to hold on to it. I'm not trying to make it super long. I'm just trying to get the air out, okay? Here I go. you, Georgianne George, for that. I saw that comment right in the middle of the exhale. Thank you for joining us. It's so good to see you, Georgianne. Okay, I was actually just talking about you. I'm looking at the chat when I look this way. Anyway, okay, so I like that exercise because when I breathe in and then exhale like that, I immediately really feel the engaging of my breath support muscles and my stomach muscles. I almost feel my torso get taller. So I'm going to do that one more time. This time, if you're joining me on this, what I would like you to do is as you're doing that exhale, I want you to go for as long as you can, as quickly as you can, just like I did. It doesn't have to be as long as I did it for, as long as it works for you, okay? However, but what I want to suggest is when I'm doing that, when I'm doing that exhalation, okay, I'm going to try to keep the focus on keeping my torso lifted by keeping a lift in my rib cage, actually. I'm going to keep my bottom rib lifted that whole time, okay? And that's actually kind of a hard thing to do, and it will not be perfect. That's the first thing I want to say. It's more of a mental game about keeping a nice lift in my torso, especially because I'm seated a lot teaching for my own singing voice. This has become really important, keeping a lift in my torso. By the way, thanks for the compliment about my hair. I very much appreciate it. Okay, anyway, here we go. Moving on. I'm going to breathe in and then breathe out again on that S, and this time I'm going to keep a focus on keeping a lift in my torso. Here I go. Oh, that felt so good. That time I actually was able to do it. That's kind of hard to do even for me, honestly, keep a lift in my torso. What happens is when I do that, I feel my back muscles engage in my breath support as well. So I sort of feel this tightening that occurs. But it's so awesome because I'm not collapsing down on my chest, which can happen when we're singing and can cause the neck to collapse and this nice tunnel from the breath support muscles up through the vocal cords. That's what we want to keep nice and long the whole time. Okay, so I actually really like that. That was fun and I feel good now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little lip buzzing. We've been doing this on our lessons before, okay? Lip buzzing is really critical for voice teachers and conductors the world over because if a singer can flap their lips and sing whatever we're about to sing, which might be like, we might do a 5-tone descending scale next, okay? And they keep their lips going, that means that their breath support muscles are working. They're pulling the breath support muscles in and the voice is on air. If the lips stop flapping, it's because we're not supporting the voice. It's because we've dropped the breath support muscles. Now, this can happen a lot. If you're really good at this, if you've been doing this with me occasionally and you're great at it and you notice that every now and then all of a sudden your breaths, the lips stop flapping in the same area of your voice, I'd put money on it being your low range. That's because we speak in our low range a lot. We also tend to sing in our low range a lot when we haven't taken lessons yet. And so that's where we feel comfortable and the most confident with our instrument, okay? So I really want you to try to keep your lips buzzing as we descend first. The other thing I want to say is if you're struggling with this, there's a couple of other alternative options you can do. You can just try to keep your lips buzzing through the duration of the scale. So you don't actually have to sing. You can just go, okay, just to keep them going. If you can get the singing going, but you're noticing they're sort of in and out, you can take your index fingers, put them here in the corners of your mouth. You are seeing Georgianne. And by the way, I love your chat color. It's like a vibrant green. It's very pretty. Okay, so I'm going to put the index, these index fingers in the corners of my mouth. I'm not going to press too hard. They're just sort of going to go here as like kind of little agents to hang out. And I think that, I'm not really sure why this works, but it seems to help some students who struggle with lip buzzing to send the air forward through the lips. I think it keeps everything kind of streamlined forward. So you can do that. Or if you're really struggling, okay, if you're like, this is the worst, try rolling your R's. This is a very strange phenomenon, but some of my students who can't lip buzz at all can, for some reason, roll their R's. Now Now the thing is, the same breath support that's required for R rolling is required for lip buzzing. So it's a good alternative. All right, here we go. We're gonna do some 5-tone descending scales. That's sol, fa, mi, re, do. Too fast? I feel like I am going a little too fast. That's my challenge. I like to just tear through these lip buzzes. Let's go a little bit slower, a little more moderato. Slower is that we're going slower. So maybe there's more accuracy, but there's a major drawback to going slower, which is that you need more breath because you've slowed down. Okay, so we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna go at that moderato pace. We're gonna descend again because I wanna go a little bit lower this time, but we're gonna add something to our lip buzz. Can we go? Okay, so that's a perfect 5th jump at the end of our descending 5-tone scale. Sol, fa, mi, re, do, sol, do. And while I want you to be in tune and I want you to get to the top of that note and come back down, incidentally, that's at the same, that jump is at the same high note that you started on. So it might sound a little bit scary, but it actually isn't. You've already been on that note before. But the other thing is that while I'm descending down on that and then I do that jump, I want it to be accurate, but it doesn't need to be a perfect connection. It can be more of a sort of slurring up and sighing down. Nice and easy. Between the 3rd and the 2nd octave, and if you're a lady, you're between your 4th and 3rd octave on this descending. Okay, so now we're going to go back up. We're going to add the perfect 5th jump as we ascend. What I'm going to do this time is for the people who maybe are struggling a little bit with this, I'm going to lip buzz one, then roll R's on the next. Okay, so I'm going to alternate how I'm doing it. You do what works for you. If you can do the entire exercise, huzzah. If you can't, if you can just do the descending scale, that's so rad. Do this. Go me, me, me. Add any kind of vocalizing at the end for that jump, just to get the pattern down, okay? And if you're struggling with the descending scale, maybe you can just do the jump. Okay? This is about doing what your voice can do in this moment in time, okay? I'm giving you an optimal exercise, but this is about your development and growth as a singer. Here we go. Together, I'm going to alternate between lip buzzing and rolling of the R's. That'll be fun. I want to stop here to make a note about something that I'm doing, which I don't think I talk enough about in general, but I'm noticing it now because I'm on camera and I get to watch myself, which is so exciting. So I don't know if you notice this, but when I do my lip buzzing, I go, and as soon as I'm I'm done buzzing, I inhale. Okay, so it's not like I'm going like this. I'm not going. Okay, if you're doing that, if you're going and you're not breathing in automatically, you're holding your breath. Okay, and that's going to work against you in a variety of ways. It's going to work against you technically, okay, but it's also going to work against you actually in terms of tempo. It gets really hard to sing a song if on every exhalation, right before I breathe in, I hold my breath, okay? So what I really want to encourage you to do if you're joining me for this exercise, and maybe it's your first time ever doing a vocal exercise, is I want you to hold the final note, okay? But then when I change key, I want you to start breathing in on the key change. You do not need to vocalize on the key change, all right? Watch me do it again. I forgot. I just remembered I was supposed to be alternating. Trying to do too many things at once. Okay, so now I'm gonna roll some R's. The reason I'm breathing in, and by the way, I'm getting a pretty good size inhale on my key change. Partly that's to demonstrate to you guys, but partly it's because we're doing a legato descending scale with a perfect fifth jump at the end, moderato. So it actually takes a good amount of breath for a trained singer to do this exercise right now. But one of the reasons why I thought it was important to bring that up is because I'm singing on my exhale, and as soon as I'm done singing, I want to breathe in. I want to make the release of my exhalation and my inhale one gesture, actually. Okay, if I can do that, singing music gets a lot easier. Okay, let's do a few more of these just to stretch us up a little bit more. As you know from some of my past videos, I like to stretch into the low range and then stretch up just a little tiny bit into the high range. Okay, here we go. Sing in your own octave, whatever is comfortable for you. Here we go. Last one. So how'd you do? How's everyone doing on this exercise? Good? Okay, hanging in there? All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a weird one. Okay, this is going to be a legato descending arpeggio, okay? An arpeggio is when we as singers sing the notes of a chord, okay? Now, I can't as a singer sing more than one note at a time because I'm not an alien. I can sing more than one note at a time if I'm singing with another singer. Then they're singing the other note and working with me in that chord. But in general, I can only sing one note at a time, in general. So I'm going to sing a descending arpeggio. The solfege of this is sol, mi, do, okay? And what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to sing it on a really fun word. I'm going to sing it on the word Oreo, okay? And I'm going to go Oreo, Oreo, Oreo. That's kind of hard to do, but I really like it. I like the O in the beginning. That keeps my cheekbones up, so I keep a lift in my soft palate, okay? That's what we're doing there. Oh, okay, then we're going to get to a nice bright E. It's a very shallow vowel. Oreo, Oreo, Oreo. Okay, and that re is a nice connection point to get us to the last O, okay? Also, just really like Oreo cookies. Okay, here we go. Oreo, Oreo. And actually, let's add a little flip of the R if we can. If you struggle with flipping your R's, if this is like a hard thing for you, put a little tiny, not aspirate, not accented D in place. So you go Oreo, Oreo, Oreo. Instead of Oreo or Oreo, it's Oreo, Oreo. Okay? Oreo, Oreo, Oreo. Oreo, Oreo, Oreo. Oreo, Oreo. Now, a couple of things you might notice about me while I'm doing this, okay, viewers? You might notice that I'm not moving my mouth very much, okay? I'm not going Oreo, Oreo, Oreo. And that's because the truth about singing is that all of the vowels hang out in the same living room on the same couch, actually, okay? That living room is in the area of the skull behind the nose. That's sort of that, if you've ever seen we've all seen a lot of skeletons, right? Because Halloween was just this weekend. You know how in your face, there's that big hole right behind your nose? That's where your voice likes to hang out, okay? Now, that does not mean that my voice is nasal, okay? When I think of nasal singing, I think of someone actually parking their voice in their nose like this and then supporting from there. So going, Oreo, 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 that's really nasal, okay? But having my voice behind my nasal cavity and sending it forward as a trajectory through the nose just gives me nice forward positioning. It doesn't make me nasal, okay? So we're not being nasal in our singing. We're just hanging out around the nose for the trajectory of the voice. The voice is traveling through the nostrils a little bit, okay? But I'm gonna say that I think this is a little bit hard, even for me, okay? And sometimes they are. So what we're gonna do is, we're going to take the R out entirely, and we're just going to go, Oyo. Okay, so I've got my lips, in a forward position, okay, but they're sort of an extension of my cheekbones, all right? I'm just pulling the lips forward, okay? Oyo. So I pull them forward and then back for the E and then back forward again, okay? But I'm really not opening my mouth very much, okay? And I know that this is fast, but I'm doing it kind of fast for a reason. I want you to sort of be sewing your voice into that area where it gets nice and forward and clear. Okay, so sometimes I think it's better to do it quickly. If I was to do this super slow, it would take an enormous amount of air, okay? But if I'm just going between the vowels right now, oyo, 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 it's just about transition. Oyo, oyo, oyo. And I'm not opening up my mouth so much because I don't need the space yet. We do open our mouths up, men and women, we do open eventually on high notes. But right now in my middle range, I just want to keep it nice and fluid and forward. Oyo, oyo, oyo. Oyo, oyo, oyo. My voice feels really heavy today. Because I haven't sung in 2 days. It's like cement. Okay, so I'm trying to keep my voice a little bit lighter, a little bit liltier by moving transitionally between vowels, okay? If vowels all hang out in the same place, they're just sculpted differently with the tongue, with different moves between the tongue and the lips and the cheekbones, all this stuff. Then actually the voice doesn't move, okay? The voice is not supposed to move. The voice is like this tree trunk that stays in one position, and all I'm doing is I'm carving it to create vowel sound. Hang on one second. I think my volume's getting really high. Oh no, I have it pretty there. I just saw a lot of flashing red on my stream because my high notes started to get big. Okay, so now we're gonna go back down. Now, if you want, you can put a little bit of that R back in because I do miss singing about dessert food. Now, as I get lower, okay, as I descend into my low range, what I really start thinking about more and more is that I'm chewing on my vowels a little bit more, like I'm biting into them, okay? What that usually means is my cheekbones feel like they lift higher, okay? So as I'm getting lower, ironically, I want to keep my cheekbones lifted more, okay, like they're going more like this, and I'm chewing that those vowels, okay? When I'm down in my low notes, okay, I feel a lot of vibrating in the front of my face, a ton of it, okay? And I also, this is gonna sound strange to say, but I don't hear, first of all, it's not great to listen to yourself while you sing. I'm just gonna put that out there, but I am going to make this caveat for singing in my low range, okay? So when I go down to my low notes, what I hear inside my head is a ton of buzzing. It's like vibrating, okay? And it's the vibration of my voice staying really forward into the bones of my face, okay? But what I will say is this, there's so much buzzing in it that it almost feels like there's no tone on my sound. Now, you and I both know that that's not true because you're listening to me now and I know you hear me singing notes. I'm just saying this is what it sounds like from me, like behind my voice. I'm singing behind, I'm hearing from behind my voice, okay? So as I descend, what I'm trying to do is to keep my sound more forward. I don't want to pull it back. I don't want it to be, I don't want that. I'm not 80. I'm not singing Wagner right now, okay? But even if I was singing Wagner, I wouldn't be doing that. I want to keep it forward and almost shallow, okay? So it's so shallow, okay? I'm sending the sound forward, and that's why I'm getting a lot of vibration down there. I'm gonna stretch a little lower. Low notes are not meant to be large. They don't need to be big, okay? They're just meant to be forward. So if you feel like you're singing and it's getting smaller or tinier, it feels far away, maybe even shallow is not the right word. I think thin. Do they feel thin to you? That probably means that you're doing it right. If they feel like they're back here, and you can really you're like, yes, I sound so good to myself, chances are you're robbing all of us of your sound, okay? When I sing, it's not about me sounding good to myself, it's about me sounding good to you, okay? So I need to send my voice out, not pull it back inside. I'm gonna do, let's see if I've got a few more of these low notes in me. That was fun. One more. Oh my God, that's really low. Okay, and watch me now. Look at this, my chin, not going down to reach for the note. I really wanted to just now. You guys, I really did. I wanted to drop my chin to reach for that note, but I'm not allowed to because I have to keep this nice and relaxed and long in here, okay? Last one, and then I'll tell you what note this is. Wow, that is like the absolute bottom of range. That is the D3. That's the D below middle C, almost a full octave below middle C. Okay, and that's the middle C. That's the C below middle C right there. Okay, so now that I've stretched. That's what it is. It's a stretching out. It's not so much singing. It's just stretching, and yet that is what singing is. Singing is stretching out over notes and rhythms. Okay, that's really what singing is. That's the art of legato. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to mix it up a little bit with some staccato, because I really believe that the voice, to keep the voice healthy, especially to keep my voice healthy, I need to mix things up energetically in singing. Okay, and the more I can move my voice, the better my singing is. Actually, sorry, I'm just sitting back up here. I love this pink velvet chair, but it is hot. It's like a hot chair. Like it makes me hot. Anyway, true confessions from the voice studio. Here we go. All right. So we're going to do a little staccato. Staccato means short and disconnected. So we were literally just doing the exact opposite of that. We were doing legato. We were doing long connected vowel formations on dessert food. One of my favorite things to do, okay? Now we're going to do my second favorite thing to do, which is staccato on H's, okay? I like to use H because I find that H helps pull the stomach muscles in. But the problem with H, and I'm going to give you this warning right now, is that sometimes singers are faking it. I know, shocking, right? Singers faking their sound, but indeed they do, okay? So sometimes when I'm doing my H's, I can get a little bit lazy, and they can end up in my throat where they're sort of like... So the real key for me with my staccatos, my staccato singing is, am I pulling my stomach muscles in? And am I releasing them? Okay, so staccato is pulling the stomach muscles in to sing on a short note, but then in order to make that note short, I've got to drop the stomach muscles. I got to let them out, okay? We're going to do... Let's keep going with our descending arpeggio today, because that's a really good pattern for us. If you're new to singing, it's so good to repeat patterns in many different ways. Okay, so we're going to continue with our descending arpeggio. Sol, mi, do. Okay, but what we're going to do this time is we're going to pull the stomach muscles and we're going to go he, ha, he. Okay, so you could even see me kind of bouncing a little bit. He, ha, he. I'm pulling my stomach muscles in to make short notes. The key to staccato is not that it's fast, okay, and not that it's even short. It's that it's disconnected, that there is minute time in between each note where the note is not connected because the stomach muscles have released. And the reason I like doing this is because it helps singers feel their stomach muscles. Sometimes we spend a lot of time talking about this stuff, but do you physically feel what you're doing? Do you? Do you physically feel what you're doing? That's what I have to ask myself all the time, okay? So we're gonna go he, ha, he, he, ha, he, he, ha, he, he, ha, he. Now, one of the things you might also be saying is, Tara, are you breathing between these notes right now? This is kind of an interesting thing. Was I breathing? He, ha, he. I was breathing. I can't believe it. I could barely notice myself. I was breathing in between my notes because my stomach muscles came out. But it was a very small amount of inhale because I had just a little staccato note next, okay? So I don't need to go like this. I don't need to go he, ha, he. Okay, I don't need that much air for that sound. All I need to do is breathe in enough for the next note, because if I'm doing the staccato right, I'll release those stomach muscles and inhale for the next note. Okay, here we go. He, ha, he. He, ha, he. He, oh. He, ha, he. 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 He, this will happen occasionally with me on these streams, is that I am doing this and I don't like singing poorly. So, and especially, I know, and I was going to guess which note I was on. I am on the G4 right now. This note has been giving me pain. It has been giving me pain in my singing lessons that I teach. It has been giving me pain in the singing lessons that I take. And it has been giving me pain in the repertoire that I've been singing. I've been singing flat on this note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just readjust my posture, make sure that I am holding steady to the letter of the singing law here, form-wise, and I'm gonna go he, ha, he. That was much better. He, ha, he. Then I'm gonna go back down again. He, ha, he. Just to make sure it's still there. Then I'm gonna go down one. He, ha, he. Now I'm gonna go back up. He, ha, he. He, ha, he. He, ha, he. He, ha, he. I'm going to try that one again because I did not like it. But mostly I didn't like it because I never liked that note, because this note for me, this is the B4. Okay, so we're now a major third above where we once were. And by the way, what I just did was I sang a note that I did not sing well. Okay, then I went up a half step and sang the half step up, which is the A flat. Then I went back down to the note that I don't sing well and I sang it again. Then I went down a half step to the F sharp and I sang that again. Then I went back up to the G and sang it one more time. Okay, so that's just my approach when I'm singing something wrong or incorrectly. I don't want to obsess over it. I don't want to get like strung out about it, but I do want to check in with it and I want to give it some devotion. Okay. So that's what I was doing. I was just sort of hovering around it and then hitting it again and hovering around it and hitting it again. And it got better because notes inform each other. The notes that are higher and the notes that are lower inform each other. So that G is not just about the G. It's about what's going on the F sharp and what's going on the A flat, the note above it and the note below it. Okay. All right, so now, though, we're a major third higher on the B, okay? He, he. So for me, this note, and I would say even if you're down here, if I have any gentlemen singing with me, that would be this note here for women, okay? These are trouble areas because they are the beginning of, well, for some people, they think it's like a first passaggio. They'll say it's a first passaggio. I think, I looked up G4 on Google, and it said it was this one. No, G in the 4th octave on the keyboard. Thank you, Georgianne. Georgianne, you're invited back to all the streams because of your clever chatting. Okay, so anyway, where was I? Okay, so here we go. I'm on the B, okay? So this note is a transition point between my middle range and my high range, but it's going into its own area of the voice called the passaggio, okay? The passaggio is Italian, it means passageway. Some people call it the bridge of the voice. Some people call it a register shift. I like passaggio, not just because I'm a classical singer, but because I really do believe that this is the beginning of a series of like 4 or 5 notes that are extremely narrow that connect me to my high notes, okay? And they are a weird kind of mix of high voice and middle voice, which is what makes them so shady to sing, I think. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to park that B in the 4th octave. Okay, the B right below C5. We're about to start the 5th octave. Okay, I'm going to just sing that note out here. Okay, like in front of me. Not in my head. I'm actually going to visualize. Now, this is where we get a little more about visualization versus physicality, okay? And sometimes I like to deal more in physiology and physicality for singing, but every now and then you do have to kind of go with the complexities of visualization, okay? So what I'm imagining right now on this note is that I'm threading a needle, okay? That the note is the eye of the needle and the thread is my breath, okay? So I'm going he. I'm not so sure about that one. I'm going to try that one again. I think that one should be more this way. He. he. Really biting into those low notes. He, he, he. He, he, he. He, he, he. Good. How'd you do, Georgianne? Did you sing any of that? Or are you just Googling weird things? It's the swine flu. I'm going to have to look that up. I wonder why it's the swine flu. Strange. Okay. We're going to do one last exercise. This has been such a great lesson. Oh my God, did I need this? Thank you for helping me be... I see that I have 3 viewers. Thank you, 3 viewers, for helping me be focused and teach a good lesson today. I really appreciate it. I hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the chat. I'd be happy to answer some of them for you. We are going to have a vocal chat on Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. So if you have any questions about this, any of these exercises or anything like that, please feel free to ask, okay? So our last exercise is just going to be a little stretching. I sang Jesu Bambino with accompaniment. Oh, lovely. Okay, thank you. Georgianne is working on Christmas solos, so that's awesome. Okay, here we go. So we're going to do a little stretching exercise that is, again, an arpeggio. We're going to ascend and descend on a 4-note arpeggio. Okay? And we're just going to do it old school style singer on a mi. So we're going to go mi, 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 mi. Mi, 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 mi. Mi, 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 mi. Mi, 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 mi. As I sing that last mi, I breathe in automatically. Not that time because I needed to talk to you guys, but normally that's what I do. Watch me do it. Mi, 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 mi. Mi, 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 mi. 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 Mi, 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 mi. Now, if you find the pattern of this one a little bit challenging, that's okay, because it is. We've added a 4th note to our arpeggio. We've been doing just basically half arpeggios most of the whole night, just the descending line of a 3-note arpeggio, which was sol, mi, do. Now I've added the top do to it, but I've also added the entire thing. So we're doing do, mi, sol, mi, do. And you can join me on the solfege if you like to help you learn the pattern instead of just doing mi's. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. 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 So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the arpeggio. We're going to do double arpeggios to stretch out. First, I'm going to do it on the solfege, which was the do, mi, sol, do, sol, mi, do. Okay, but on that last do, instead of singing a do, I'm going to switch it to mi. So I'm going to go do, mi, sol, mi, 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 mi. Also, all one breath. Okay, so this is on one breath. We're extending our vocal line, okay, and stretching our voice out. Do, mi, 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 mi. In case you're wondering, the mi that I'm singing, mi, 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 is different than the 3rd scale degree mi that I'm singing in solfege, okay? So the mi, 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 mi is just like a vocalization of fun, mi, 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 okay? The mi that I'm singing in solfege is actually the 3rd scale degree of the major scale, do, re, mi. Fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay? Do, mi, sol, mi, 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 mi. Do, mi, sol, mi, 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 mi. Now, if you need to, you can take a breath, okay? I would recommend taking a breath between the 1st scale and the 2nd. I'll demonstrate it here. Do, mi, sol, mi, 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 mi. Do, mi, sol, mi, 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 mi. Do, mi, sol, mi, in case you're wondering, we've hit that twice already today, twice. That's the highest note we did today. Do, mi, so, do, so, mi, 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 mi. Do, mi, so, do, so, mi, 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 mi. Do, mi, so, do, so, mi, 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 mi. Do, mi, so, do, so, mi, 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 mi. Do, mi, so, do, so, mi, 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 mi. Now that we have our pattern down, let's try something. We're going to end this on kind of a tougher one, okay? So we're going to speed it up a little bit. We're going to get the tempo going a little bit faster, okay? And we're going to do the first set of this on staccato. So we're going to go he, me, 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 okay? He, me, 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 me. He, me, 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 me. He, me, 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 me. He, me, me. By the way, I'm going to just change my display really quick so we can see Georgianne's wonderful chat. Can we see your chat? Oh, no, that's a different kind of chat. Never mind. Just kidding. Okay, here we go. So, speeding up a little bit faster. If you're struggling on the top note, open up to a ha. He, me, 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 mo, me, me, me. Just do your best. Follow along as best you can. He, me, me, mo, me, me, me. We're going to do a couple more. He, me, mo, me, me, me. 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 He, me, me. Okay, so we had a really good workout today. We started out with some amazing breath exercises that were fantastic, even for me. They really helped get my voice out of the basement that it was in, the vocal basement. Then we did some lip buzzing, which was really good and really strenuous, actually. It really stretched us out into low and high. And then we did some jumps at the end, so it got us into some agility. Then we did a legato descending arpeggio on Orio. Orio, Orio, Orio. And I think that might be one of our practice this videos this week. So I'll be online tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific time, demonstrating that in a quick practice this video. It'll be about 10 minutes long, and I'll break it down. We'll do a few of them together, so you can come back to that one. You don't have to go all the way through this stream again. You can just go back to the Tuesday blast and check out the exercise, okay? Then we did some amazing, thank you, Georgianne, for coming. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. I hope you can come back sometime. Where was I? Then we did some descending staccato arpeggio on he, ha, and he. All of this was about vowel transition today. That was a really big emphasis of this lesson, was transitioning between vowels, which I did not plan, but I certainly enjoyed talking about, okay? And then finally, what did we do? We did a 4-note full arpeggio, ascending and descending on solfege first, then on staccato, then on legato. That might be a practice list video, practice this highlight later this week, so check in for that. I hope you'll join me again on Sing With Me. I'm sending you love and high notes. Go vote, okay? I love you all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Twitch, for being awesome. An awesome place to create.